Dear students, today I am going to teach you statistical concepts. As we know that machine learning and pattern recognition is based on statistical concepts. So we should aware about some statistical concept. So first of all, I would like to define what is statistics. Statistics is the science of dealing with numbers. Here actually we have to deal with numbers. It is used for collection, summarization, presentation and analysis of data. Statistics provide a way of organizing data to get information on a wider and more formal basis than relying on personal experience. This formal way is called objective and personal experience is called subjective. There are two kinds of statistics. Statistics is a descriptive statistics and second one is the inferential statistics. So for if you want to find frequency and percentage, which also called data representation, basic measurements, where you have to perform measure of central tendency and measure of dispersions. Measure of central tendency contains mean, mode, median, and measure of dispersion contain variance and standard deviations, which are come under descriptive statistics. And in inferential statistics, uh, in hypothesis testing, t-test, ANOVA, it means analysis of variance, chi-square test, z-test, correlation, and logistic regression come under inferential statistics. So we will discuss here only descriptive statistics because descriptive statistics is the basics of statistics and most commonly used in pattern recognitions. And inferential statistics are generally used in research. So when we talk about the data, then data and the type of data, we will discuss here type of data are two types. First one is the quantitative data and second one is qualitative data. So any aspect of an individual that is measured is called variable. Variable are either quantitative, it means it is a numerical data. Inside numerical data, it is two kinds of discrete data and continuous data. When we talk about the discrete data, then it is usually whole numbers such as number of cases of certain disease, number of hospitals, beds, no decimal fraction. And when we talk about the continuous data, then it implies the measurement on a continuous scale, example height, weight, age. So when the counting are limited and numbers are whole number like integer, natural number, then we can say that this data come under discrete data. When the numbers are large, come under the decimal values. Then these are the decimal values or real values. Then this data called continuous data. And second type of data is called qualitative. Inside qualitative data is also called it is non-numerical data. When you want to define your data in the form of some thing like male, female, marital state like married, unmarried, widow, or something else like divorcee, then you can take these terms in these classes as a categorical classes. Suppose if you want to predict the cancer of something, then if you are giving if you are taking class in the form of yes no, then this is come under categorical. If you are taking classes in the form of 1 and 0, then this is called the binary data. Binary data is also come under quantitative data. So binary data is also discrete data and quantitative data. Binary data is the kind of discrete data where the classes are only two, 0 and 1. And another type of qualitative data is ordinal data. In the ordinal data, this data is defined range are those which imply some kind of ordering like level of education, socio-economic status, degree of severity of disease. So you can use this kind of data first in your research. Before going to start research or going to start project on machine learning, you have to decide and you have to understand which kind of data you are taking. So you can represent the data in the form of tabular presentation and graphical presentation. In the tabular presentation, you have to define your data in the form of table. This table may be in the form of CSV file, comma separated value or Excel file. So the benefits of table representations are the table must be self-explanatory. So it means you can understand by the help of table which kind of data is saying what. Title written at the top of table to define precisely the contents, the place and the time. Clear heading of the columns and row and units of measurement. Every table has rows and columns. Rows are horizontal and columns are vertical. Define the clear meanings of the contents. The size of the table depends on the number of classes. So size of the table depends on the number of classes. It means how many number of classes you are taking. And another representation of data is graphical representation. Graphical representation is better than tabular representation because it is simple and easy to understand, save a lot of words, self-explanatory, has a clear title indicating its contents and fully labeled. So these are the types of graphical representation of data. So first one is the bar chart where you can represent your data by the bar chart. Second one is the pie chart. Third one is the histograms. The difference between the histogram and pie chart is that histogram doesn't contains the separations, but bar chart contains separation between data. And scatter diagrams represent data by the help of point value, by the help of points. And another is representation of data is the line graph and this is the last representation of data that's called the normal distribution or normal curve, or you can say it the normal distribution curve. So we can represent these kind of data. Some language like R, Python, MATLAB provide this kind of facility where you can put your data and give the command for pie chart, bar chart, histogram, scattergram, line graph and normal distribution, and these language will represent your data in the form of any these graphical representation. Arithmetic mean come under descriptive statistics. So this measure the center tendency of data. So when we talk about the arithmetic mean or simply mean, then this is the sum of observation divided by the number of observations. So x bar equal to 1 upon n sigma xi, where x bar represent mean and summation represent the summation over all observation, and xi is the value of ith observation and n is the number of observation. For example, if you are taking 5 observation like 12, 15, 10, 17, 13. Then if you want to find the mean of these observation, then first of all you have to find sum of these observation, then divide it by the help of number of observation. So x bar equal to 12 plus 15 plus 10 plus 17 plus 13 divided by 5, it will be 13.4 years. So when your observations units are in years, so the means value unit will also be in years. So the previous slide showing that the arithmetic mean where frequency was not given, but In this case, frequency is giving, then we can say that mean for frequency distribution. For example, if you are taking one table where incubation period showing your observation and frequency of cases, f is showing the how many times this observation occurring. So by the help of the formula, uh, x bar equal to I equal to 0 to n fi xi upon n, where f is the frequency and x and n are the same as before. So in case of the frequency distribution, you have to multiply your observation with frequency and sum them. So according to the formula, if this is observation value is 2 and this come under coming two times, then you have to multiply 2 into 2 equal to 4. 3 is coming in 4 times, so you have to multiply fi into xi equal to 12, and you have to multiply 4 to 1 because 4 is coming only 1 times, and similarly 5 into 3 and 6 multiplied by 2. So it's, and then sum them. So its sum is coming 47, and we have to divide n. You have to divide by n. So n is the number of observation. So number of observation actually 5, but these are coming how many times? So the value of n will be 12. So the answer will be x bar equal to 47 upon 12 equal to 3.91. So median is the another technique to measure of the center tendency. So it is the middle observation in a series of observation after arranging them in an ascending or descending manner. So when you want to find the median of any kind of data, so first of all you have to arrange it in ascending or descending order. So you have to check the how many numbers are there. If the numbers are odd, then you have to find the rank of median by n plus 1 by 2. If the numbers are even, or you can say that the observations are even, then you have to find the rank of median by the help of formula n by 2. For example, we have even number of values. We have 6 values: 2, 5, 3, 8, 10 and 4. So if you want to find the median of these values, then n is even. So rank of median is n by 2. 6 by 2 equal to 3. So, so we have to find the middle value. So if even, then 4 and 5 both are in middle. So median is 4 plus 5 by 2 equal to 9.5. So it will be 4.5. It's wrong. 4.5. And this is the another measurement for the central tendency, which is called mode. The most frequently occurring value in the data is the mode, and it is calculated as follows. Example, if you are taking example 5, which contains 5 value 5, 6, 7, 5, 10. So frequent occurring value here is 5. So mode in this data is 5, since number 5 is repeated twice. Sometimes there is more than one mode, and sometimes there is no mode, especially in a small set of observation. So in a small set of observation there may be no not repetition of any number, so we will not find mode of that particular series. So example 20, 18, 14, 20, 13, 14, 30 and 19 has uh, two modes, because 14 and 20 are coming two times. So we can take the value of mode either 14 or 20 or both. So example For example, 300, 280, 130, 125, 240 and 270 has 6 values, but not any value is repeating here, so it has no mode. So mode will be three types: unimodal, bimodal and no modal. In the unimodal it will contain only one mode, and bimodal it will contain two modes, and no modal it will contain no mode. And, and this is the two kinds, range and standard deviation, and which come under measure of dispersion. So range is the difference between the largest and smallest values. For example, 46937, the lowest value is 3 and the highest is 9. So the range is 9 minus 3 equal to 6. So it is the simplest measure of variations. Its disadvantages are it is based only on two of the observation and gives no idea of how the other observations are arranged between these two. So it tends to be large when the size of sample increase. The range can be misleading. For example, 8, 11, 5, 9, 7, 6 and the largest value is 3616, but range is not in this kind of value, but the lowest value is 5 and highest value is 3616, so range will be 3616 minus 5 equal to 3611, but values are not around the value of 3611, so it is misleading. When we talk about the variance, then variance and standard deviation also come under measure of dispersion. If we want to get the average of difference between the mean and each observation in the data, then we have to access variance. We have to reduce, it means difference. Have to take difference of each values from the mean and then sum these differences and divide it by the number of observation. Then you can find the variance. So example, when we talk about example of variance, so you are taking an example like in a study the age of 5 students were 12, 15, 10, 17, 13. Then the mean of these value is x bar equal to 13.5, but variance equal to 0. The value of this equation will be equal to 0 because the difference between each value and the mean will have negative and positive signs that will equalize 0 on algebraic summation. So we have the actual way to find the variance is that because this provide answer in same unit, but this method sometimes provide value of variance equal to 0 or in negative. So we cannot actually analyze how much values are dispersed. So to remove this kind of lacunas, we have to find the measure of dispersion variance like this. To overcome this 0, we square the difference between the mean and each value, so the sign will be always positive. Thus we get V means variance equal to sigma x bar minus x bar whole square upon n. N is not in square. The main disadvantage of the variance is that it is the square of the unit used. So if you want to get it in same units, so we can underroot it. So this is called standard deviation, different name of measure of dispersions. So it is more convenient to express the variance in the original unit by taking the square root of the variance. This is called the standard deviations. So standard deviation is the square root of variance. You can write this equation like this also. Example, If you are taking 5 value 5, 7, 10, 12, 16, then its mean equal to 5 by 50 equal to 10, and its standard deviation by the help of this formula will be 3.85. And this is the another slide which represents the coefficient of variations, which is also called measure of dispersions. The coefficient of variations express the standard deviation as a percentage of the sample mean. So its formula of coefficient of variation is equal to standard deviations upon mean multiplication of 100. So it represents the percentage of the sample mean. So curve is useful when we are interested in the relative size of the variability in the data. So you can find by the help of example, you can understand by the help of example. If we have observation like 5, 7, 10, 12 and 16, then standard deviation equal to 4.3 and mean equal to 10. So coefficient of variation equal to 4.3 upon 10 into 100 equal to 43. So it's represent in percent. So thank you for today. This is these terms are the basic of statistics, and you have to understand these terms. These are definitely helpful for your next classes. Thank you.